Hello, I'm APX Toycat, and Minecraft 1.20 is out now for all Bedrock platforms, and I am excited. Oftentimes bug fixes are vague and only matter to one platform, but Mojang has fixed the 3 biggest problems that users of existing worlds have had with this update, including crucially the ominous vault and windburst coming out of it very rarely. Let's go through today and explain what other updates we're expecting soon. This is a super fast news video, and so let's go. By the way, subscribe or something. But let's start with the changelog for this update, because it does have just 3 bug fixes on it, but these are 3 of the most crucial ones that many players have been asking for. Crucially, the first one here is to do with the ominous trial spawner. Mobs spawned by the ominous trial spawners will now drop the items that they picked up. This was really terrible before. You could have super high enchanted gear, or netherite even, and if you died with it, it would drop. The zombies would pick it up, or the husks would pick it up, and then when they died, they wouldn't drop it again. This is a really crucial one to fix, and I'm glad they bumped it up into a hot fix. And we also have the ominous vault. Rare loot now has an 80% chance of dropping instead of 20%. Funnily enough, this bug fix you can actually see was submitted by KMB, a writer for the channel, and so thank you for him to submitting that, because now they have fixed this, meaning the odds of finding windburst in a vault, as well as some other things, has gone up from 1.36% to closer to 5% like it is on Java. That still means they're insanely rare. It takes 20 ominous trial keys and vaults to even have a, to be reasonably good at getting it, but it means instead of going through 80 to 100, you can go through 5 trial chambers and maybe get windburst once, so getting your hands on windburst free is still really hard, but at least reasonable. And finally, we have the trial spawner. They fixed an issue of trial spawners not ejecting loot in older worlds. This is a very weird bug, and if this happened to you, I'm so sorry, but it looks as though that has been fixed now, and so 3 very crucial concerns all fixed in a hotfix. This is surprisingly good news, and before we talk about what else we're expecting, I want to quickly go through and test this. I'm currently playing 1.20 just to confirm what happens if I go through with 100 keys, because I've got 100 for 1.20 and 100 for 1.20 Let's open up 100 ominous vaults with each update and see what the difference is in loot. Obviously, there's some RNG to this, but just to see if it really is fixed, or if it's not, we're going to test it right here. So satisfying, by the way, if nothing else, and I think we only got 1 enchanted book over here, which was Smite. Oh, is this Windburst? Hey, Windburst! So we got Windburst 1 precisely once there, which is exactly what we'd expect with a 1.36% drop rate, but now we should, after we update the game, get it slightly more, but there's only one way to be sure, and so let's update. Now we hope for something great. So if you're curious about why the changelog is written the way it is, giving you a 80% chance of getting rare loot and 20% chance for common, that sounds like the opposite of how it should be. Basically, when you open an ominous vault, you don't just get 1 piece of loot, you get multiple pieces, and one of those is right now is giving you a 20% chance of rare loot and 80% chance of common, which sounds very logical, except this is only one of the roles, and the rest of it is where you get the rest of the common stuff, so it is still quite rare to get enchanted books, especially of Windburst, but as you can see, wow, we got Breach and Windburst 3 times already. But what else did we get? Let's go through and find out. Looking at the results is absolutely insane. We got Windburst 8 times. This is slightly more than we'd expect, but still within the reasonable grounds of probability. But also we got Breach twice and Density twice. So in all in all, we got way more enchanted books. We were expecting 4 times as many, but we got close to 8 times as many, which is great news. We also got more of the other types of enchanted books. And in case you're curious as to what loot suffered in exchange for this to happen, well, basically, I decided to compare the 2 sets of chests, and obviously, we got more enchanted books, but we got fewer, and also, weirdly enough, we got more diamond blocks. That could be a fluke. We got roughly the same number of heavy cores. We got 9 heavy cores before and 8 heavy cores now, so both of those are working intact. However, it seems as though, looking at the number of ominous bottles, we got 4, 3, and 3 ominous bottles in 1.20, as opposed to here, where we got 6, 6, and 12. So it looks as though that is one of the pieces of loot that has suffered in exchange for all of these brand new enchanted books, which we can finally get. Boy, is this one of the most exciting things I've ever heard, and if you don't agree with that, then you clearly don't want to collect all the enchantments like I do. This is enough to make every type of Windburst and finally finish my entire enchantment little table collection, something I am very excited for. So with that said, I guess now we just have to, now we've got the good news out of the way, I guess we have to cover the other big thing you might be curious about, because here's the deal. 1.20 1.2 is great and all. It's wonderful that they fixed these earlier than we were expecting, but a lot of people are curious, so what about the next update though? This is always the question we get, and to some people it seems ungrateful, but I get it. Like, I'm always curious about what's next too, and so what is coming in the next minor update, because 1.21 is a major update, we're not expecting another major one for a year. 1.20, 1.2 is a bug fix, and those aren't too exciting. So what about 1.20, 1.20? Well, that is our first minor monthly update since 1.21, and we're actually currently expecting it to have a preview as soon as tomorrow. It is in the preview phase, and there probably are quite a few more to come, but it is very likely to have bundles based on the announcement we've seen so far, so that's pretty good news, and also it's expected to release in August. So yeah, the next update is on the way, but for now, I think releasing bug fixes to fix the most important stuff, if it's going to be months before one of these minor updates, is a very good piece of news. Speaking of good news, thank you for watching this video. I know it was a fast one, but that is hopefully deliberate, and hopefully you found it to be useful. Make sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and also watch my stream tonight, where I'll be going and opening some Ominous Vaults for the first time since the first week of this. I might get Windburst for the first time, and I'm excited. Also, I have some great news about the Longboy I'll be able to share. So many people have asked me when, if they, people have been upset they couldn't get one when it was out, and we have some great news about that. Also, I'll be finally able to get Windburst, and maybe playing around with it in a fun way. Looking forward to doing that in my survival Let's Play, but for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.